A number of our herbs are either evergreen or semi-evergreen across Oklahoma. Those that are evergreen remain green, keep their leaves all year. Semi-evergreen herbs will keep their leaves for milder winters, but in harsher winters like this, we'll see a bit of dieback. And so the plants typically that I think of as being evergreen and semi-evergreen are lavender, sage, thyme, and rosemary. And these plants also often produce woody stems. And if you look at this stem, you can see that the base of it doesn't have any leaves coming out of it. So once our stems go woody, they're not very productive, and all of the new foliage is produced at the tips. This one happens to have died back, but the same is true here where we still have some green foliage. So this isn't very conducive to being a productive herb plant. And when we come in, we can prune this to keep it more productive. Another reason for pruning is to maintain the smaller size. These herbs can get rather large and outgrow many gardens. But as with everything in gardening, we have a lot of options. What we might do is come in to maintain the size and increase productivity of a plant by removing all of these unproductive woody stems back to the base. And you just want to cut them as low as you can. Now I've noticed on this plant we have some nice young shoots, and I'm going to work hard to preserve those. You can just simply cut this plant all the way to the ground and have it come in and produce new stems. For some of these larger shoots, I need to come in and use a bigger tool. Now as I'm cutting, I noticed some of them have actually rooted in the ground. Many of our herbs will layer themselves, and this is a great time to divide your plants. With this, I would just go ahead and trim it back on either side of the root ball and plant this in the ground in another location in the garden, and I'll have a brand new herb plant here. I've noticed after a bit of pruning that this plant doesn't have as many young shoots as I thought, and I'm feeling like I'll have a much better overall appearance if I just go ahead and trim it back uniformly. We have a really nice root ball here, and it'll produce some young tender shoots, which are actually the best for cooking with anyway. And so this is going to leave us with a very productive plant and a much more attractive plant in the landscape as well. Now some of our taller herbs here, like our rosemary, actually has quite a bit of green material. If you want to maintain your herb larger rather than cutting back and starting small each year, you can just come in and uniformly trim the stems back by about 8 to 12 inches from the tips. These are actually kind of branching out and curling up. So I'm going to want to go ahead and cut those back in from the ends, find the end of the shoot and cut it back to help control the size of my plants. Now as I'm working, it smells wonderful out here in the garden. Well, the essential oils in the plant are fairly low. We're probably not going to want to cook with these herbs, but they're certainly very fragrant. Bring these inside, stick them in water in a vase, put them in an arrangement or even a dried potpourri, and you can enjoy the smell of the herbs now in the winter while we're waiting for the new growth to begin.